Hey all. Right off the top, I want to say that this painting is going to be my Animal Friends art for February, which means if this painting is purchased during the month of February, 50% of the purchase price will be donated to the BC SPCA. Something I think about a lot in the context of social media and putting your life out there for everyone to see is, like everyone else, I think about all the things that I've done wrong or things that I'm personally embarrassed about, and these weren't even like long time ago. This is ever present, and the more time I spend browsing artist forums and stuff, I think that it is something that is unavoidable, and that's just really common types of adversity that we experience when we want to share our art. And they talk about adversity in art in the sense that we use art to heal traumas and share troubles and use our pain to make art. But what I'm talking about is when your art creates pain. And sure, making art about personal subjects or being criticized or hurting your hand and back or something is one thing, but I find just the regular disappointment is just something that you have to endure no matter who you are, no matter where you are in your path. It's gonna happen. You're just going to be sad about not being somebody else. And I'm definitely one of those people who does not shoot up into success right away. Maybe not ever. I might have at least 30 more years to try. I find the hardest part of being an artist is trying to keep that stuff in check and keep it to yourself. You know, in the very beginning of the process, I had a lot of trouble just dealing with how little anything I did seemed to matter. Like when I had an art show and I had something like 14 people RSVP and only half of them showed up and the rest were just radio silent. I, for whatever reason, just could not enjoy the excitement and the success of having a show with very interesting people attending, jubilant environment. I sold like half my pieces, which is not something that normally happens. But for some reason, I just kept getting caught up in the fact that there were people who just let me down. I also have a lot of situations where somebody asks you to make something like custom jewelry or specific kinds of prints or clothing or like any number of practical items that I wish that I had, but I can't because it costs so much to make it. And once you do make it, those people who asked for it are nowhere to be seen. Seeing artists who are just as good as you post something online and they get hundreds of comments, and you post something online and you get crickets, that is absolutely required to happen. It's impossible to control these situations that make us feel disappointed. It's impossible to control our feelings because it is super hard. Like for me right now, the hardest thing for me to post online, for example, is the vlogs. They're vlogs, and by nature, they are going to be boring for a lot of people. Like half of you guys don't even watch them. It's nerve-wracking to put such mundane stuff about yourself and your face on the internet, not knowing who is watching or why. And every time I go to edit a vlog, I feel this kind of like weird sinking dread where I'm just like, this is the most boring thing I could possibly do. Why would anyone want to watch this? And then I realized that I like watched a vlog of somebody putting together a jigsaw puzzle, and their obvious established fan base aside, it makes me wonder, like, why am I imposing restrictions on what I make and what I do when other people don't have those restrictions? You know what I mean? I usually just have to find ways around it, around these feelings of disappointment, around these feelings of being invisible, because it's not unique to me and it's not unique to you either. I think my general kind of perspective improved a lot when I took a lot of my inward emotions and put them more outward into the world by making it less about making art and asking for attention and more about making something for others, commenting on other artworks, putting yourself out there like directly, submitting art to things directly, giving advice wherever I could possibly, just focusing more on the quantifiable positives. Like 16 likes on an Instagram post is less exciting than one positive and uplifting conversation with a specific human being. And if anything is going to save us from the harsh realities and disappointments of making art your thing, I think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be like learning somebody's name and doing something nice for another person. I'm so far away from achieving that level of zen, I guess, because I'm so shy and so not connected to the world most of the time, but that kind of stuff definitely gets me closer to my path in life. Don't wait until you're 35 to start practicing that. Get out there and make some friends, guys. I had a piece of adversity with this particular painting. I didn't like it. I got to the end of this and I was like, why do I hate this painting? The colors are ugly, but I thought it looked too busy, so I covered it with a blue wash to set it out into the background a bit more, and it still didn't look good, and it even looked kind of uglier. So I literally wasn't sure if I was even going to finish this. It just wasn't working. This is a good time to take a picture of the art piece and bring it up onto your computer so that you can sort of alter it digitally to see what works before straight up destroying the whole thing. I discovered that warming up the background instead kind of made it look better, so I started with that. And it did make me feel better because I wanted to add cookies to this and it wasn't working, but the warm brown tones sort of made it look more like a chocolate theme, so that sort of tied things together a bit better. But I still hated it. Eventually, I discovered that it was composition. The rectangle landscape shape was not helping, and it looked better whenever I cropped it down to square. So I had to rip this painting off of the stretcher bars that I so carefully attached this to, and I had to glue it down to a square wood panel instead, and it looks way better. I was even able to add my cookies without throwing the whole thing off. That rectangle just did not do it. And I would not have discovered that if I did not bring it onto the computer and play with the colors and crop it. So let me know in the comments what your best way to persist through the adversity you face as an artist. And once again, this painting will be in the shop. And if it is purchased during the month of February, 50% of the purchase price is going to be donated to the BC SPCA to help take care of our local animal friends. And don't forget to subscribe. I make a new art video every Thursday. I also sell original art, sketchbooks, really nice prints, handmade calendars, pet commissions, and even some one-of-a-kind wearable art jewelry. I also have a sketchbook club on Patreon, where we fill our sketchbooks according to a theme, and some tiers even get original sketches mailed to them.